What is going on, guys? Today we're working on Nissan Skyline, and we are putting in this cool little motor right here, which I will show you. We have all the parts, almost, except the wiring harness. Don't have a wiring harness, don't have ECU, but hopefully we'll have that within a couple of days, and we're going to get this thing going, so check it out. Here is the main show. This is an LS6 from a C6 Corvette Z06, I think is what it is. Got it from LKQ or similar, somewhere on the old eBay. But it's got low miles, got everything on it. A couple things we're going to pull off and swap with some of these new parts, which are right here. T56 transmission with a QuickTime scatter shield valve housing, which, if you're drifting and high revving, I like to have that for peace of mind. Canton oil pan with the other Canton oil pan accessories. ACT clutch, new throwout bearing. There's the lightweight flywheel, ISR headers. We're also doing GK Tech Hikist Delete, getting rid of that because that's poopy. We are we're taking out the R32 front subframe and we're putting in S13 front subframe because nobody makes a mount kit for the R32 that we found. And we got plenty of S13 subframes. And then a couple more parts over here. Motor mounts, transmission mount, which may need to be modified for the R32. Not sure about that yet. But the motor mounts will bolt right up. And I think that's it. Let's get to it. So I let my ADD take control, and now I'm at the back of the car doing the Hikist Delete. He already had a Hikist Delete, but it was the type that uses the factory like tie rod arm thing. So we're going to the full GK Tech, way more solid style. And he had a lot of play with this system, just because the ball joints were worn out and stuff. So this will work a lot better. Got that clean?
Now that's a clean subframe.
Clean your parts before you put them on.
Please.
It makes your life easier and makes our life easier eventually. It makes our life easier when we buy your car to part it out and we can take apart a clean car instead of a nasty car. And also, while we're doing the Hikist Delete, we're going to be deleting the whole Hikist lines going from front to back rather than just plugging them at the back like most people do. So we're just going to pretend like this car never had Hikist at all.
What does Hikist stand for?
I have no idea. This is what Hikist stands for.
Don't know. Now I'm curious.
Well, watch my video for it. It'll be on there after I research. Damn it. Yeah. This bolt got stuck, so Be right back.
What's
All right.
up, Matt?
So we pulled this throttle body off of my old Suburban because it is a cable, and the one on the motor is drive-by-wire. So Corey is cleaning it out because somebody, previous owner of this throttle body, who shall not be named,
Matt?
didn't take care of it,
Matt?
and my truck had 340,000 miles.
Also at Matt?
So Corey said that all of in here, which, I mean, it looks pretty here. Let's see how she's looking. Oh, that's looking really good. So he said all up in there was like an 1/8 inch thick layer of grime, and
I had it, okay, for example, I had it in the parts cleaner. I had it soaking in diesel fuel for about 15 minutes.
it's like diesel fuel and xylene and
everything
like a
else.
bunch of chemicals in there.
And even after that, I went to scrub it with the normal brush, and none of it would come off. It was that much. And even with this metal brass brush, it is
Tough.
still, yeah, tough. Yeah.
So, take care of your cars,
Yes, please.
because I didn't take care of that, and neither did the last 30 people.
I don't think it's ever been off.
Probably not, no. And then I dropped this line, which was the Hikest line that was up in my way. And then unbolted that, which you can barely see, which is some sort of Hikest module. And then these lines that run all the way, right here. And then we're going to get rid of this, which is the clutch damper. And then we have the S13 front subframe bolted up in there. And you can kind of see how, let's see, you can kind of see how the motor mount is back on that one. And then we'll come over here. And don't listen to the music because YouTube's going to copyright me for it. But the motor mount on the S13 sits about there, whereas the RB sits about there. All of the GK Tech rear Hikest Elite is in the car. Still going to need to adjust this, so those are all loose because the toe is going to be way off currently. But we'll figure that one out once we get on the ground. I had the bell housing on the trans, but I forgot to put the throw-up bearing on.
He fucked it up.
I didn't fuck it up that bad, but
No, it was awful.
just
bro.
wasted time.
Yeah, you ruined it.
I'm
Did
just
you
out here
torque these?
wasting everybody's
Did you
time.
torque these?
So yeah, torque those. I forget torque spec. It might be in that manual right there. But so that's all back. That's all back together now. Got the spec clutch. I said ACT earlier, but it's spec. Whatever, same thing. All that torqued on. This little adapter plate to go with the scatter shield. Starter held on by some random bolts. My hand's very dirty. Cody's got something to say.
I've had like 4 energy drinks.
And Tourette's. Anyways,
Stop, you make me think about it more.
Anyways, so we got the starter on with just some random bolts for now, till we can find the correct ones. ISR motor mounts bolted up. Kit and oil pan kit bolted up. Everything taken off the top. We're still waiting for Asher to order the wiring harness. And yep, I actually just thought of something. So we're gonna have to go rewind. Yeah, so Grant got hungry because it's 1:30 in the morning. So he's eating some of that oatmeal, that good. I think this is how you eat oatmeal, right? That's how you eat it, right?
Crumpy.
All right, so we got the trans and the bell housing on the motor. We did not get the oil pickup situation figured out because that was being too much of a pain in the ass. Lightly bolted up the headers, just 2 bolts, just because we're not sure if we're going to put the motor in there with the headers on or off. So we'll figure that out when the time comes. Oh, you don't have to step out of my video. It's okay. It's okay.
That hurt.
So yeah, we're likely going to have to do something over here to clearance it for the steering rack and steering shaft and stuff. But we will have to figure that out when we get the motor in here, because it's tough. And I loosened this in case we need to pull it out of the way a little bit. But again, I'm not sure how the R32 stuff is versus the S13 stuff. And all the Hikis is gone. That's all this junk down here. This is the power steering line, which used to go across the front subframe. Used to go right here, but it wasn't going to clear with the oil pan. So that's going to need to be custom made. Hikis, all that just goes in the trash.
Fuck Hikis. All my homies hate Hikis.
You didn't know what Hikis was like 35 minutes ago.
Don't call me out, bro. I'm sensitive.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Alright, so we're dropping the engine in, and we're going to see how it fits. It might need a little bit of firewall clearancing, but it might not. So let's go for it.
Fucking do it. See what happens. You don't know until you try. Alright guys, so I'm just here to take place of Matt for a second, but I'm going to give you an update on the LS swap we're doing into the GTST Skyline. So pretty much where we're at now, I got the engine dropped in. There's a few things we're going to have to do to it. There's a couple big tabs around a couple sensors that don't get used underneath the trans tunnel, which I'd show you, but currently the car is on the ground, so I can't. So the transmission needs to be hammered out a little bit. The mounts do line up really well. What engine mount kit is that again?
That is the ISR kit.
The ISR kit. Okay, so yeah, the ISR kit, everything fit very well, even with a right-hand drive car. That kit clears the steering column and everything. A few things I noticed that we're changing on this setup. The stock clutch master cylinder on a Skyline, which is right here. So this, when it's in here, I can even show you, basically hits this whole cover. This coil pack goes right here. So as you can see, that doesn't fit at all. So we're actually going to run a Willwood setup. Not positive if we're going to have to relocate either all of these coil packs or just trim this bracket and relocate this one coil pack.
The plan is, we're going to trim it probably there and then just relocate this. Instead of being here, we're going to be here. Yeah,
up here. So all that should work. And then this little nub on this valve cover, probably just going to chop that off to give it a little bit more clearance there. A few other things putting in LS. Depending on if you have a returnless fuel system or return system, is going to debate which setup you're going to run. You probably run a fuel pressure regulator anyways.
Like an aftermarket, yep.
Yeah, like an aftermarket one. So we just had to get some fittings for these. And the fuel pressure regulator is basically going to work with the the returnless system. So you're going to have your the feed line, the return line, etc.
And also, I had to take the fuel rails and unbolt them and rotate them 180, just so this inlet was not over there and just had a shorter line. Simple stuff.
Yeah. Doesn't make a difference with anything. You can do the factory parts. Also, this LS6 came out of what, a 05 Z06?
06 Z06, yeah.
Yeah, an 06 Z06. So this is actually a throttle body off of Matt's Suburban, which is a cable. These come with a drive-by-wire throttle body. It is a 3-bolt setup, so any throttle body off of a Suburban, Chevy
Corvette,
Silverado,
early
Tahoe,
Corvette,
early
LS1s.
Corvette, LS1, any of those, as long as it's the 3-bolt one, it fits right up. The gaskets pretty much all work and everything. That was just a direct swap. The oil pan is on here. So on the Skylines, which these setups are very similar to a like 180SX, S13, etc. The oil pan we used, what brand was it?
It's a Canton.
Canton. The Canton oil pan we used does clear the front sway bar and clears the subframe. Another thing we're going to delete on this is all of these ABS lines. We're going to basically delete all of this stuff and just run a proportioning valve instead of all this, because he never even had that hooked up to begin with. So this is basically, one, it's kind of ugly in my opinion. It takes up a lot of room in the engine bay. Two, there's no reason to have all of this. If you're not going to run ABS, you can just get rid of it.
And then another thing we got rid of was the Hicus. So I pulled all the lines off earlier that went from there to the back. And then I pulled the lines and had to redo some stuff. I'll show you. We're going to have to get a custom power steering line made to go from the rack to the pump. And we are not exactly sure how it's going to be routed at the moment, but it may be just really long and go like down and then back and then boom over to there. We'll figure that out on the next video.
It doesn't hurt to have the power steering line a little long.
Yeah,
it's not going to affect anything. Also if you need any lines made, like these fittings right here that I had to get for the return, and then when I make the feed line to go to here, depending where you live, if you have a tubes and hoses
or Pertec,
or Pertec, you can pretty much walk into any of those places with a measurement, the two fitting sizes and what you need, and tell them, hey, I need a 5-6 foot long power steering line with these two fittings on it, and they'll whip it up for you right there. So getting custom lines, a lot of people kind of panic about because they don't know what to do. You can go to any place like that, and they will make you whatever line you need. It's really not that difficult.
It's not that expensive either.
No, it's pretty cheap.
No, yeah, it's like, I mean, for the line from like here to here would be like $15-20 maybe. And they got AN. They have like literally every fitting you could ever imagine.
So then another thing we may have to do is, I'm not sure if Ashley's going to be running heat, but we'll have to run heater hose from here all the way over to there. Not sure what direction we'll go.
Yep. Probably, well, depending where the header goes, we might go from here along, probably to this like clip right here.
Yeah.
And then just to two like 90s or something right there.
Yep. So all of that stuff needs to be thought of. Radiator hoses will be, basically for the radiator hoses, we're going to go to the parts store and just be like, yo, let me check out what you got, and find one that has the right shape in it to go. That one goes to the bottom, and then that one will go to the top right over here. And it'll be pretty simple.
Yeah, don't use the that like flexy bendy hose crap.
No, that stuff's ugly.
I hate that stuff. It's garbage. Most auto parts store, unless they're just complete jerks, if you go in there and you just kind of explain like, hey, I'm working on a very unique custom project. Can I go in the back and just look at your hoses, or say mounts or anything you need to look at? Most guys will let you just go in the back of the store with them and pretty much dig through all their stuff to figure out what's going to work.
All right, so that is all for this video on the LS6 R32. We will be back to it in probably less than a week, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
It's gonna fucking rip.
Yee!